This episode of Nintendo Pow Block is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your vacation host, Eddie V, because I'm not here at the time. I'm on vacation. But joining me, hopefully he is taking a break also, is Boss Man, the one, the only, Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Will not be taking a break this week. Hi Ed.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you also.
Even though we just did this last night.
They don't need to know that.
Well, they do now, so
that is true. Yes, everybody, we are finally doing our top 25 Switch games. We have been meaning to do this, and since not allegedly, but hypothetically, Nintendo Switch is kind of coming to the end of their lifespan, and maybe there is a next gen system in the works. We decided to talk about 25 games, and we each have our own list. So it'll be like about 50 to 60 games because we got some honorable mentions that are on Nintendo Switch, and some of them are on other platforms, but a lot of these games we played on Nintendo Switch. And I gotta say, Corey, out of all the Nintendo systems that I had, I feel like GameCube and Wii U were easy to make as a list. This one was hard. Like, just out of the 6 years that Switch has been out, there has been a ton of like top tier games. Like, games that really should awards.
Yeah, I after we were done recording last night, I stayed up and made my list, and I think I originally had something like 51 games on my list. Mm-hmm. So I guess we should start by the process of making the list. So what I did was I went through all my games that I had installed and all my games that I had purchased, and then I just wrote them all down, and then I started like, okay, well, I know what number one is, so I'm going to start there. And then I just went down each game and was like, do I like this game better than this game? No. Okay. Then it goes under. Do I like this game better than this game? No. Then I'll put it higher. And then I came up with a list of 51 games in order, and then I deleted 21 of them, and I have 5 honorable mentions and 25 games. So, all right. I think you're going to be shocked at my list, because I was actually kind of shocked at my list.
Right. I think we may have to do a part 2.
Well, I think when the next console comes out, we will do one final like list. Kind of like we did with the Wii U when the did we ever do one for the 3 or the 3DS?
We never did one for the 3DS, but
maybe we should do that too.
When we did Ranking Nintendo, we did talk about some games that that were recognizable. 3DS would be a good one, but man, I would have to definitely pull up a list and just go, of course, Wikipedia, and go through a lot of games, because I'm like, I had a lot of 3DS games, and there's just so much goodness that's on that system. Everything.
Yeah. I actually like think my 3DS list would be pretty simple. I think my list would be pretty easy.
Yeah. It's just that I don't know what would be my number one. Like, I think if I had a DS, I think probably Hotel Dusk would be my number one on DS. 3DS, I really don't know. That one would really be hard and everything. I know Dragon Quest 8 for 3DS would be on there because I love that game on PlayStation 2 and everything. But yeah, I wouldn't know what my top 3DS game may be. It I it may be Fire Emblem Awakening,
Yeah.
but
Um,
like I gotta go to the list because I know Fire Emblem Conquest was a really good one. But Awakening, I just love those characters and I love that storyline.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a
Ooh,
good.
yeah, that and Link Between Worlds. Those two
Yeah.
would probably be the battle.
Yeah. I imagine it
Um,
would.
but Corey, should
Yeah.
we get into our list? But
Yeah.
and I want to say for me, um, I really tried to uh make sure that I had indie, third party, and Nintendo first party games. And then some of them I tried to make sure I didn't make obvious. So, Corey, I'm gonna start with my honorable mentions. I put Spiritfarer, Streets of Rage 4, TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, Blazing Chrome, and Chicory for
Hmm.
mine.
Hmm.
Um, I know Streets of Rage 4 might surprise a lot of people. Um, and as good as Streets of Rage 4 is, I was not feeling the soundtrack to it. I love the combos, I love the gameplay. It has a good loop, wasn't feeling the soundtrack at all.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, the Spiritfarer was just a great game. Um, Shredder's Revenge, as great as that game is, it's too short for me. Blazing Chrome, I love the Contra feel with the Sega Genesis aesthetic, and this is a game from Brazil. It's really good, and Chicory is very beautiful, colorful game, and everything. So those are my honorable mentions. What
Hmm.
about you, Corey?
So my honorable mentions are they're kind of all over the place. So I have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I played a ton of The Witcher on the Switch. I think I probably a ton for me. I mean, like I probably played like 25 hours of The Witcher on on the Switch. Uh, it's a
More
really
than we
good.
played on the console,
I
on
mean,
the other
yeah,
consoles.
yeah. I really enjoyed my time with The Witcher. I still like kind of want to go back to it. And there's cross save now between all platforms, so
Oh,
I
nice.
might play it on Xbox because like I guess CD Projekt has like their own kind of account system now, and you can link all your
Yeah,
accounts to that one account, and then your cloud save can transfer over. So I know it was originally PC at first and Switch, but now I think it's everything.
oh,
Um,
that's cool.
yeah, so I really enjoyed that experience. Really good port. Um, obviously not the best way to play it, which I have a bunch of games on my list that are that, but uh, The Witcher was great. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. I think uh, I really wish this game was higher on my list because I really love the combat and I love the art style. I think it's awesome. I think Ninja Turtles is
Hmm.
really hitting a massive resurgence right now between this game and the movie, obviously, and they just announced a sequel and a TV show to go along with the movie. Um, so
MNC collection, the
yeah,
Cowboy collection.
yeah, and they're releasing a whole new line of toys that are really cool looking. So, uh, yeah, I wish this game was higher on my list, but it is what it is. Fell Seal, the Arbiter's Mark, which is like a Final Fantasy Tactics esque game.
Hmm.
It's got a kind of like this weird art style, but the combat or the strategy and the combat's really cool. The story's kind of cool. There's a bunch of different heroes you can add to your party. I really highly recommend it. Um, Crosscode, I love Crosscode. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. I think if I would have played more, it would have been higher on my list. I played about 10 hours of it. I wish I would have played more. Really cool. And then Doom is on here because that port was really impressive,
Yeah.
especially for the time when we didn't really know how third party ports were going to work and really put Panic Button on the map. And Doom, I mean, when Pow Block was kind of really the only show we were really doing, or like that was like the main show. Um, I tried to play all my games on Nintendo consoles, which, uh, you know, Doom was one of those games, and it was really fun. So, but those are my honorable mentions, Ed.
All right.
So for 1 through 25, are we just gonna kind of volley back and forth?
Um, for I think for I'm gonna say 20 to 25. We'll do just 5 games, five, five, five. We'll volley that way, and then we'll start going back
Fine.
and everything. Actually, uh, so well, I'm gonna you want me to start
Yeah.
with my list?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to start with my
So
list
this
and my
is 21 through 25, right?
um
Yeah.
yeah, this is 21 to 25 to 20. Yeah, no, 25 to 21.
Yeah.
You're right. So,
I am right. Thank you.
you said 21 to 25, and I reversed the numbers. That's why. So, number 25 is Voice of Cars series. 24 Murder by Numbers. 23 Hook. 22 Splatoon 3, and 21 Ori and the Will of the Wisp. And man, okay, so Voice of Cars, I have the review out for the first game. Did not know how uh card slash strategy, a card slash action, not action, RPG would play, because it's not like an active time battle like Final Fantasy. Everybody takes their turns and stuff. And you don't like pull up cards or anything. You just use a set of cards that's in your hand to defeat the characters. I mean the enemies. Music is so great. The story is like, the game is only around like 10 to 12 hours first playthrough, and then it's probably about 3 extra more hours if you're trying to do everything. So about 15 some hours. You got a level cap at 30, and man, I just been laughing at some of the writing, and it just has some great narration. The second game is okay, but man, the first one, I was blown away on how good. And I remember people were just worried about a car RPG from Square Enix, like how that's gonna work. It works perfectly. Like, once I think they got a demo out. I think once you play it and you learn it, you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. It's still like a traditional RPG, but it's just with cars, and it's just so good. Murder by Numbers, everybody who know me know I love mystery games like Phoenix Wright. And who knew that I would get into Sudoku? Now, I'm not too big on Sudoku, but great stories. They really the some of the stories that they tell, deals with a trans person, one deals with a movie star, and it's just so good, and it's so funny in that game. Hook. This is the game where $2 it's a puzzle game. Me and Corey literally was texting each other, be like, dude, I just played about 4 hours of Hook, and I like got through 8 stages.
Oh my gosh, dude, that game was amazing. Dude, remember when we
It's
discovered that game and that's all we talked about for like 3 weeks? I think everybody was
yes.
mad because we weren't talking about anything else.
But it's so good, and I haven't beaten it or anything, but it is like, if you're on a road trip or something, you just need a little puzzle game. It's not too hard at the beginning. It gets difficult because you got to release certain hooks, and I think like and kind of like in thinking what I'm and I cannot think of it. I want to say takes, but it's not takes or anything. Chances and everything. And you kind of start learning the puzzle to be like, okay. And once you start piecing it and figuring out where things go, you be like, oh man, okay. You feel good solving it. So Hook is definitely one. Splatoon 3, love the online, love how colorful it is. Great soundtrack. I love playing with Grayson. The reason that it is low, I haven't played enough of it and everything, but I really think it deserves. I mean, it got great sales. It deserves the praise and love that it got. Like I said, it's a beautiful game. I really love the artwork and I love the music in the game also. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. And of course, I got this game on Series X when it came out, but I had to get the collection when it came to Switch. It is a beautiful game and it's way better than Ori and the Blind Forest.
Mm.
I didn't expect this game to be that addictive. It's still challenging and everything, but it's just so good and heart like kind of still heart wrenching at times. It's just man, it's such a great game. So those that 25 to 21.
Hmm.
Corey, what about you?
Well, Ed, my game number 25 is Luigi's Mansion 3. This is another
Yes.
game I anticipate would have been higher if I played more of it. Seems to be a running theme with me in playing games for like 5 hours and then just moving on to something else. Uh, Mostly because I'm trying to play everything, and that's not great. Um, I love the art style. I love the comedy. The opening is great, and it's just a nice, fun kind of sequel to a series that I love already. So,
Hmm.
um, number 24 is Box Boy plus Box Girl. Um,
Yes.
anybody who's been listening to Pow Block for a long time knows that I'm obsessed with the Box Boy and the Box Boy games on 3DS. Which, if you have, well, I guess the eShop's closed now. Never mind. Sorry, guys. uh, but you should definitely get Box Boy plus Box Girl. It's just this little simple block puzzle game, and you have to solve the puzzles with your blocks. And the less blocks you use, the higher score you get, and you want to aim for like 3 stars on every course.
Hmm.
Uh, and then there's secrets that you can find in every level too, like crowns, and and then you can dress up your box people, and it's really fun. It's really cute that way. Um, Highly recommended. I think there's like I don't remember how many levels are in this one, but it's $20, worth every penny. Number 23 is Astral Chain. Um,
Oh,
I
nice.
really I really like the kind of setup and the interesting mechanics of the game. It really it really got a hold of me a little bit after it came out, and I really like what I played of it. Um, so it's obviously Platinum Games. It was a nice diversion from something like Bayonetta. Obviously, like
Hmm.
I hope they go back to it. I know they kind of said they made this one planning as a trilogy at some point, but I mean, we'll see.
Dude,
Platinum is
that was such a crazy year. We got hit with Fire Emblem Three Houses in July, Astral
mhm,
Chain in August, and then Link's Awakening in September. I think
yeah,
all three of those games came out. Nintendo was crazy in 2019 for that.
yeah. So that was great. I loved it, and so yeah, if you haven't played it yet, I recommend you find a copy and you know play it. Number 22, Snipper Clips, arguably the the best launch game not called Zelda. If you play it with multiple people, basically the whole thing is you're trying to solve puzzles with your friends, and you kind of have to cut your friends into different shapes,
Hmm.
using your shapes to solve these puzzles, and you can do some real like damage to people. Make it like it's really fun. I just play it. It's really fun. It was like one of the first games that I played where like you use the Joy Cons separately and you just kind of walk around with the Joy Cons separately. And once you get 4 people in there, man, it's really funny. It's
Yeah.
really funny when you cut people up on accident, or like you make their entire person disappear, and it's just really funny. Uh, so yeah, Snipper Clips, and then at 21, Ed, a classic, a Wii U classic actually. Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE Encore. Now,
Uh,
this game, this is the Atlas did this game. It is a kind of like a Shin Megami Tensei Persona crossover where your personas, quote unquote, are Fire Emblem characters, and it's just a really fun, light version, I would say, of those games. But
mhm.
if you want an introductory version to those types of games, this is the one to play, and it's really fun. It kind of revolves around the idea of idols in Japan, and like it's music based, and it's really fun. It's really cool. It's got a great art style. Highly recommended. This was early on when the Switch came out, and we were talking about when they were lining up their Wii U ports kind of over the course of the first 2 years. We kind of said that this was one that we hoped would come over, and it did. So
Yeah, I was super excited when they announced it during the direct. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, I have a chance to get this game. So
yeah,
I own it on Wii U. I own it on Switch. Which is funny, Corey, because that was my number 20
yeah,
right there.
yeah. It's an amazing game. So, but that's my 21 through 25, Ed. So you want to do your 16 through 20?
Yes. So as Corey's mentioned, Tokyo Mirage Session, FE Sharp Encore, uh, great game. Number 19 is Monster Hunter Rise. No, this is not because of Laurent or anything. I love this game. I put so many hours in just taking down these monsters, and playing with different people. It's so good with it. Like I even got pictures on my Switch that I shared on Twitter, and just like taking these monsters down. And still to this very day, even with the DLC, this game is so good. And I have it on Series X, but I haven't started yet because I really want to see how it runs on there. Like with the up frame, I think it's 60 frames per second. I think they like up res it and stuff. So I'm excited to play it on Series X also. Um, Number 18, Octopath Traveler 2. This game, man, soundtrack out even the sound as much as the soundtrack is banging, these are better stories than the first one. The fights are good. These final bosses, like for each story, is like very challenging and stuff. And the voice acting is phenomenal. Literally phenomenal. Like Square Enix, I'm gonna give the Square Enix for 2023. The voice acting in a lot of their games been top tier, literally top tier. I'm not even gonna knock them. Like if there was a voice acting category for a company, Square Enix needs to win it because everything is just so good. Um, Number 17 was River City Girls. I did
Mm.
love two, but I loved the first one. Going beating that game all the way and getting the comedy bits for it. And it's just so good. And then my number 16 is Daemon X Machina.
Hmm.
Corey already know how it was at E3 when they announced this game.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I was able to find my copy at Best Buy because um GameStop didn't have any. And you couldn't pre-order this game at all anywhere. Probably besides GameStop. But I found a copy at Best Buy the day that it came out. And I quickly brought it in. Just like the customization, the fights, these graphics, the coloring and everything, even in the cutscenes, it's just so good. And I know it's not popular among a lot of people, but man, I'm so excited for Daemon X Machina 2 also. Um, but man, this game looks when it came out, it was so good. It looked so good. I enjoyed the demo. And I just love like I've never been into mech games, but I do like Gundam and stuff. And this one just felt just so good and just so challenging. Like I think this game to me personally was the um re like the comeback for mech games. You know, we got Armored Core 6 coming and stuff, and I feel like Demon X Machina was the beginning that people were getting back into mech games.
Mhm.
So those are my Tokyo Mirage Session FE, Monster Hunter Rise, Octopath Traveler 2, River City Girls, and Demon X Machina.
Nice. Nice. All right, I guess it's my turn, huh?
Mm.
Let's see. Number 20, Ed, is Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Yes, I did play this
Yeah.
all the way through on Switch. Uh, it's a great port. It's that game is incredible. If you have an Xbox and have Game Pass, if you have a PlayStation and PlayStation Plus, if you haven't played it yet, or I think the QuakeCon sale is going on for the next couple weeks. So, uh,
Yeah.
although I don't know if it's still going to be going on by the time this airs, but if it is, and you only have a Switch, this game is really cool. I also think like I know people want to play it in like ultra high def, 120 frames a second, that kind of thing, right? But like
Mm.
I think the Switch, because this takes place in the 1960s, right? The whole premise of this new Wolfenstein series is that the Nazis won World War II and have taken over the world, right? And you are part of this rebel group trying to, start a rebellion against the Nazis. And so uh, this one, I think, it taking place in the 60s, this low res kind of like grainy kind of slow moving version of this game adds a little bit of character to it. Now I'm not saying this is how I want to play all my shooters, and I really don't. If I played Wolfenstein 2 again, I would probably play it on my Series X, right? But like
Hmm.
this version is cool, and in that kind of lo-fi kind of look to it really gives it a lot of interesting characteristics. So Wolfenstein 2, a great game. um, number 19 is Valkyria Chronicles 4. I
Nice.
I really love this game. Really great strategy RPG that kind of takes the form of like a third person shooter almost in a lot of ways. It's turn based. If you played Codename Steam on the 3DS, it's kind of like that, but like way better. um, but really highly recommended. I can't recommend this game enough. The first game is also on Switch. 2 and 3 are not, but the way I understand it is like 2 and 3 kind of go together, and then 1 and 4 kind of run parallel to each other. So like
Uh-huh.
1 and 4 are kind of telling different stories in the same time period. Uh, Also, this game is also an alternate history game set during World War II, which is really interesting. But it's definitely very anime. You get to the base for the first time, and like you pet your dog. The dog is one of the best parts of the game. But there's definitely some, let's say, features on the ladies in this game. So just if
So
you
character choices.
if you have a
So
significant other, maybe play this in handheld mode by yourself somewhere. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes.
there's some character art choices made at Sega.
Yeah, there are. Yeah. Number 18, Ed. A game that I wish was higher on the list because I love the first one and I actually love the second one, but the controls are backwards, and so it kind of made the experience worse for me. But N plus plus, um,
Yeah.
I love this game so much, and the Switch's controls are backwards, and where like the jump button is on the A button instead of the B button, and I
Mm.
would like the jump button to be on the B button. And I know you can swap your controls around for specific types of games and stuff, but I don't know. It just kind of like it. The control scheme on Xbox and PlayStation are much better. But you can switch it, and the Joy Cons also kind of ruin the experience for me because it doesn't have like a proper D pad, and playing with the joysticks is weird. So I would recommend playing it on a different console if you are
Hmm.
interested in it. Basically, what it is, it's a really hardcore platformer where you have to dodge all these obstacles and collect these little gold coins. And you have a timer at the top to complete like a section of levels, right? And you collect the gold coins to extend your timer. And if you get all of the gold coins in a level, you get a perfect score, and it like highlights. It's cool because when you beat a level, it like denotes that you beat the level. But if you get a
Hmm.
perfect score, it puts like a border around it to show that you like have a perfect score. And it really bothers me when I have one level that's not. So I will play it over and over and over again. Uh,
Man, I know when it got announced, and it became available. Like we both quickly downloaded that mug.
yeah. I did turn around and buy it on Xbox, and the controls are much better over there.
Better.
Yeah. But it is worth playing. Even like, especially if you're not planning on doing 100% of this, like the
Hmm.
levels are still super fun and challenging, and it's like a big obstacle course game. Really highly recommended. Number 17, Ed, is New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. I love a good 2D Mario game, and this was, an extremely underrated 2D Mario game. I think it's one of the best 2D Mario games, really. Uh, if you didn't have a Wii U and you want to, if you want a 2D Mario game, especially leading up to Mario Wonder, I would,
Hmm.
I would check this game out. It's on sale right now too. I mean, I think it's $40 instead of 60.
60.
Uh, so plus it has all the Luigi levels in it, which is like the hardcore mode. Um, so yeah,
And
I think
my mom mastered all of those levels, either the Luigi one. I'm like, how did you do this?
yeah, it's good. It's a cool. I love these new Super Mario Brothers games. I don't
Hmm.
really. I know it got a lot of crap because it was on the Wii U, but like I don't know. It's
They
just funny how
so.
I think it's just funny how everybody like crapped on these games when they were on the Wii U and then turned around and purchased them all on Switch. Just throwing that out there.
Hmm.
Oh man, shade, throwing shade tonight. Um, Number 16 is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Uh, what a surprise that game was. I mean,
Yes.
and the Donkey Kong DLC is even better. And like, I've been playing around with the idea of going back to the second one because that Rayman DLC came out, and like,
Hmm.
I I don't know what it was about the second one, if it's the free roaming stuff or what, but like, I fell off that game really hard. And as much as I liked that first one, right? I mean, it was this first one is like such an incredible experience. Highly recommended if you like XCOM style games, but like want something simpler on the go. Um, so that's my number 16 through 20, Ed.
All right. Well, we're gonna go now, just back and forth. Starting with my 15, Pikmin 4. Like,
Ooh.
I know it feels low and it's still a kind of a newish game.
Hmm.
Man, I just before we were recording, I just finished my second area, just 100%. Like I got all the areas open. I haven't beat the game yet, and I'm working on my third one. But man, getting the Pikmin and just all the planning once again. The intro, like the main menu music is top tier. Like
Hmm.
it is Hateno Village and Tears of the Kingdom, and this theme is running for best soundtrack song of the year for me right now. Like, and every time I start the game and I listen to it, I give it a good 10, 20 seconds, and I'm just like, man, this is so good. And then it's just the gameplay and playing with Ochi, and like it's good seeing the Pikmin destroying the enemies and stuff.
Hmm.
And once you start multitasking and everything, you'll be like, okay, now I got it. And like even the nighttime events where you're supposed to get some goo to help your character who are the Tories and everything, become back human. It's literally fun. Like I kind of like the green ghost Pikmin also.
Hmm.
And everything like this game is just so addictive. And like I said, I think out of all four games, excluding the 3DS game, I think Pikmin 4 is the best. It's just so good. It's so addictive. So that
Yeah.
was my number 15.
I wish, man, there are quite a few games that I realize I haven't played yet, and Pikmin 4 is one of them, and I wish I would have played a little bit of it before we made these lists because I feel like that game
Mm.
would be on this list somewhere, especially because the first one is like one of my favorite games of all time. And so, yeah.
I can't wait for to buy my physical next month.
Are you going to keep going or is it my turn?
No, it's your turn.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So my number 15 is Super Meat Boy. Um, it first came out on Xbox 360 and I didn't really want to try it. And when the Switch came out and it ended up coming out to Switch, I ended up really loving it a lot. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like it's these little like bite-sized levels of the levels are only like 5 to 15 seconds if you do them right, and like
Mm.
you have to like collect the band-aids and the collectibles, and uh the thing that it makes it really cool is that it when you finish a level and you die, like it shows every single death in your replay, and like it's really fun and really funny. Highly recommended. It's only $15. It's a great game. And then there was the instant runner that came out, Super Meat Boy Forever, which was okay. But Super Meat Boy is top tier platforming. Highly recommended.
Yes. Well, my number 14 is Tetris Effect.
Ooh,
I'm not going to even deny it. Of course, everybody know I love Tetris. I go back to the music. The music is banging, and definitely when you get close to almost about to finishing the level, and everything kicks in, and it's so I don't know how Miyazaki did this. Hopefully I'm saying it right. But like I love that how he works with music in games. This is the person who helped make Special 5 and Res and Luminous
mhm.
for those. And just I love when he do the tribal stuff because he'll turn it into a dance or to some house music, and it's just like the vocal stuff, and your Tetris is going down, and you just see like hands moving or something going on in the background. A lot is happening in just listening. And I feel like whatever platform you play on, you need headphones. You need to hear the music in this game. And of course, as a Tetris fan, it to me it's basic Tetris and everything with a little bit added features and stuff. But it's the music that you jump to, and then when you get close, like I said, when you while you are building to get to ending the level, the music is also building, and it's just I need to see if I could find a physical copy of the soundtrack because it's that good. So number 14 is Tetris Effect for me.
Nice, nice. Number 14 for me is Metroid Dread. Um,
Ooh.
which I didn't know it would be this high when I was making this list. I was kind of shocked. I thought it was going to be somewhere in the 20s, but I really love the art style of this game. I love the movement. I love the combat. Um, this was really the first time I really dove into a 2D Metroid game, really since the very first one. Well,
Mm.
I guess Zero Mission, but you know what I mean. It's same thing. Uh, but there's just something about the way this game plays that just even though I get lost and get really frustrated, just moving around the world and the
Mm.
combat and finding interesting things is really fun. Uh, and I really think that this game, even if you're not a Metroid fan, I think this game is really kind of worth checking out. Really, it's really cool.
Yes.
I don't really know how much more I can say. I mean, we've talked a lot about this game over the years, so I can't believe this game's been out for almost 2 years already. 3 years.
And I can't believe it didn't win Game of the Year.
Huh.
Just yeah. But my number 13, Corey, is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser Fury. Everybody know how I feel about Mario 3D World, so I won't have to even get into that because I love everything about that game. Bowser Fury is so much fun,
Hmm.
and I think it's going to be a. I know we talked about it, Corey, that it may become its own game in the future, like at the Odyssey, but it may be just another add-on for their next game also. Like I really enjoyed Bowser Fury and everything. And I'm so glad a lot of people got to play Super Mario 3D World for the first time who didn't own a Wii U. And you know, understand that yeah, the game is appealing for children, but if you're trying to 100% this game, it's going to kick your tail as an adult, as a player, because that stuff is hard. There's a lot of stuff in that game that they really pushes your platforming skills and everything. Now, I beat the game, wasn't trying to 100% it. I just wanted to go through the levels, and if I feel like I need to go back and 100% it, I will. Other than that, it's such a classic all-time game. Like it's up there like as a legendary game for me. I think it's the best Mario game out
Hmm.
there for me.
I agree. I think that, dude, this game is so. It's one of the best. It's my favorite 3D Mario game by far. There's no
Mm-hmm.
question. I know people like to say it doesn't count as a 3D Mario game. I'm like, sure it does. It says 3D World in the title, so 3D means
He
it's a
moved
3D Mario game.
right, and he moves in 3D.
Yeah.
So
It's. I haven't played the Bowser's Fury stuff yet. I have 2 levels left in this game, and before I'm finished with 100%ing the entire game, and I just never went back to it.
Corey,
Like,
you gotta
and I'm talking about like levels in like the hard, like the bonus worlds, right? Like 2 levels left. So I don't. Maybe I'll do that sometime over the next couple months, because like, as far as games go, the only game that I really want to play that I haven't played yet is Final Fantasy 16, and everything else is kind of like, I don't really care until Mario Wonder, to be honest. Uh, so yeah, man, this game is incredible. It's so fun.
yes.
So it's my turn, right?
Yeah, number
Number
13.
number 13, Ed. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Yes.
Keeping on the 3D World train. I mean, this. What can I say? This game is incredible. The puzzles are fun. The game is fun. It's. I mean, there's nothing really to say about this game. It's charming. The puzzles are interesting. They're cute, pocket-sized puzzles. I like the new puzzles that they added for
Hmm.
the Switch version, right? Because they took out some of the ones that required the second screen, I think, and added different levels for like what I think Odyssey style levels were levels they
Yeah.
added, right? So uh yeah, it's this game is really special. And then
And
there's
at times it's I was gonna say at times it's funny.
yeah, it's funny. The minecart levels are a little frustrating, but those are like the only parts that
Yeah.
are like, yeah, you know, I don't need those. I don't need the minecart levels, especially when you're in handheld mode and you have to use the gyroscope to shoot the. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Because it was the same way on the Wii U, in a sense.
I know. So, but yeah, highly recommend Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. Incredible game. Incredible.
Yes.
Incredible, Edward. Incredible.
Well, my number 12 is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Ooh,
Look,
interesting pick.
uh, of course, was my game of the year. It was Power Block's game of the year. I invested so much time into this game. I love the story. I love the combat, the music. and there's just like so much still to do in this game. And I understand, how this is kind of, if you look at it in the terms of what Nintendo was doing, this is the actual first game before Breath of the Wild, and then Breath and then Tears and everything. So if you're thinking of the three games, it's Age, Breath, and Tears in a
Hmm.
sense. And man, I love the characters. I love beating, the king and all the different champions, and of course, like I love that fast action feeling, and I love the fact that there is no time limit in this game. That was one of that's the thing about the Warriors game, is that they got a time limit, and there's just sometimes you can't multi manage stuff because you got to keep switching, and sometimes it doesn't work that way and
Yeah.
everything. But I like I said, I got a picture of me with my red Mountain Dew, my pizza. This game, like the red was the thing, and because I had that Friday off when it came out, and
Yeah.
I was super hyped about this game, and it did not let me down. I was playing it day by day, and just to see everybody's reaction, kind of almost felt like the first Hyrule Warriors. Everybody was just like, "What, Nintendo and Koei Tecmo?" Like people were clowning it and talking about the butt rock music and everything. Music was once again still good, and then people played it, and it was the Weekend game, not Age of Calamity, the first one when it came on Wii U. And man, that just let me believe that they got a hit on their hands. So to see Age of Calamity, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a day one purchase, and I'm so glad that I own it. It is so much fun and everything.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think. That's one thing about the Zelda games, the 3D ones. It's just like when you get into combat and it feels good, man, it's one of the best parts of a Zelda game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Age of Calamity, man, that was kind of a surprise, I think, when it came out, and like a lot of people were really excited for like a lot of the new characters they introduced, which I think
Hmm.
some of them even made it over to Tears of the Kingdom. So
And it was supposed to go against Cyberpunk in
yeah,
November before
yeah,
Cyberpunk got delayed.
yeah. Well, Cyberpunk got delayed until 2023 for all intents and purposes.
For platform, yeah,
Oh man,
but for
just
the latest platforms, I should say.
yeah. I enjoyed Cyberpunk for what it was at the time. I played it when it came out on my Series X, and it was fine. It was the Xbox One version though on the Series X because the optimized versions weren't out yet. So
Yeah, I don't know if I should pop it in and update it to the Series X version. I know
yeah, I
some
thought
people
about
said
going.
that they okay.
I was gonna say I thought about playing it again because I think Phantom Liberty looks interesting and cool, but
Hmm.
I don't really want to. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
I pretty much just want, yeah, because I don't know if they fixed a lot of the bugs and stuff with some of the side missions. So
Supposedly they
like,
did, but we'll see.
we'll see. Yeah.
All right, Ed. Number 12 is gonna surprise you, I think. And I played a lot of this game. I played a lot of this game on Xbox first, and then I played a ton of it on Switch because it felt like the perfect Switch game. And I was right. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Nice.
I don't really know what to say about Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Like, I think a lot of people that are my age that, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was such a phenomenon. This game was such a phenomenon, and it spawned like a
Hmm.
ton of other kind of extreme sports games at the time, like Dave Mirra's Pro BMX, and I think there was a surfing game, and there was an inline skating game that kind of ripped us off, and ATV Off Road Fury for PS2. Remember that? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Hawk was such an icon and like really made skateboarding something that everybody wanted to do at the time.
I think, was it the second game that was like one of the biggest in the
Hmm.
series?
Yeah, dude, I
Yeah.
remember. I remember saving up all summer for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for Nintendo 64, and that cartridge was $90. uh, for Nintendo 64. And then when I got my Dreamcast, I got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 for Dreamcast, and it was like 40, and I was like, oh man, this was like way cheaper. Man, Dreamcast, man, what a Dreamcast.
I
Uh,
swear, if Sega just says Dreamcast for NSO, if I don't see an uptick in expansion pass subscriptions, I don't know what Nintendo's doing wrong.
um, so yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I mean, Vicarious Visions did an amazing job
I
remaking these games, and I really hope, like with the Microsoft acquisition, that they like
mm,
kind of reform that team a little bit and bring 3 and 4 forward. Um, because this game is really cool and really important, I think.
I know I need to buy it. I read it in EGM. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, but I never personally played it or owned it.
Yeah.
So
Great game though.
yes.
I'm surprised it was
All
that
right.
high, but man, this game's so incredible, man.
It's yeah. Number 11 for me then it's gonna be Graceful Explosion Machine.
Oh man, I'm
Um,
surprised that's not higher for you. Dude, you talked about that
oh,
game for like
there's
2 years. You still bring it up
yes.
once in a while.
I still bring it once in a while. Cause dude, once I'll just be like, well, I'm just gonna dabble in it 4 hours later. I'm like, what the heck did I just do? Cause it's a simple arcade game, but I think it's that just getting that high score, and to me it's the thrill of surviving in that game and just like the combos and just the way that it feels. And not just like I think it's art pop that made it. um it's oh goodness, I it's just so addictive, and I just love it. Like for people who were addicted to Geometry Wars on 360 when Xbox Live dropped, Live Arcade dropped when that first came
Mhm.
out. That's the same feeling I got with Graceful Explosion Machine. Like it's top tier. Like it's still a top tier indie game for me.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
that's my number 11.
it was cool, man. Like when it came out, that was part of that first like wave of indie games, right? So,
Yeah.
it was like that and like World of Goo and Binding of Isaac. Um, what was the
Oh,
other one?
Vertex Pop. It was the name of it.
Yeah, man, that was a cool game. That was one of the first indie games. Snake Pass, I think, was in that kind of grouping. Mr. Shifty.
Hmm.
That whole first wave of indie games was really interesting for Switch.
And I think that's when, you know, indies were important to Nintendo because of Wii U, and then when they hit Switch, people were getting them. And then once the ball started rolling, that they start those indie games were getting the physical editions. Switch took off, and anyone who were doing like that's how Limited Run got popular
Hmm.
because of making physical copies of indie games. Like, and they were running it. Now I don't know what they're doing because
Man, Limited Run is
it's
I
an interesting company. I would leave it at
hmm,
that.
yeah. No, I think we're on the same page with that company. Um, my number 11, Ed, is Tears of the Kingdom. I
Ooh.
I was shocked that it was this low. Although when after I thought about it and see the games that are above it on my list, I'm not shocked that it's this low. Um, I really enjoyed my time with the game. I put 75, 80 hours into it. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, we've talked about it before, and we talked a little bit about it on the last episode and on Video Game Book Club. So you can hear all my thoughts on this game there. Uh, but I just didn't feel like the magic of the story was enough to keep me going because I thought the story was really, really good in this game. I thought it's definitely the best Zelda story, um, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And I mean this director seems to, and his writing team really seem to know how to tell a story within Zelda, right? Because like it was Breath of the Wild, and it was Skyward Sword, and even though Skyward Sword is not really that fun to play, like the story is really good. Um, and so the story was really great. I just didn't feel compelled to go exploring the world because I had already done that for 240 hours in Breath of the Wild. Um, and like the Sky Islands weren't as interesting as I kind of wanted them to be, and the depths were kind of like, I mean, it's it's neat. It's a neat idea. I just feel like the ideas for the Sky Islands and the depths were not fleshed out as well as I think that maybe they wanted it to be. Now, granted, didn't explore all of them, right? There could be something that I'm missing or something that I just didn't explore, right? 100% possible. But from what I saw and from what I did, um, it just didn't compel me to keep going. So, but it's still a wonderful game. If somebody hasn't
Mhm.
played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, I would actually say play Tears of the Kingdom because I think mechanically, story wise, it's a much better game. And yes, it is technically a sequel to Breath of the Wild, but I don't really think you need to play Breath of the Wild to get the story right.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, that's my number 11, Ed.
All right, everybody, we are going to be getting to our top 10.
Top 10.
You ready, Corey?
Yeah, I guess we can do this.
Okay. Number 10 for me is Kirby and the Forgotten
Oh,
Land.
jeez.
I'm I'm sorry. This game,
You're
not
good.
only is it charming, not only is it fun, not only is like the story kind of like really wacky, man, that final battle is the most. If you talk about anime, Corey, it goes anime with it. But it's so fun and everything. It like 100%. It's not too hard to do or anything. Like even the intro with the how like the game starts and everything. Every time something happens with Kirby, where his eyes like go like bob out or they go like really big and everything, it's funny. And then just swallowing like the cars and all of that stuff, it's so charming and it just looks beautiful as a game. Music is good in this one, but it's just so wacky enough that I had a ball with this game. Me and Grayson talked about it, and it was just like it's one of the best. Like it's one of the best Kirby games I have ever played. I love Rainbow Curse. I love Kirby's Epic Yarn and some other Kirby games, but Forgotten Lands it's number one for me in the Kirby series. Like it's top tier there. And people who want to laugh at Kirby games, I think this is one that people really need to play and complete. Like I think you would not be disappointed on what the game has to offer. Great level design too. Just an all around terrific, phenomenal game. So number 10, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands.
Nice. Um, so number 10 for me is Near Automata. Um, really enjoyed
Ooh.
what I played on Switch. I love the world. I love the um I love the characters and kind of the story that they're telling. A game that I really want to get back to. I really think the combat is interesting. Um, and yeah, I mean, when they brought it to Switch, it was a really really great port.
Yeah.
A lot of even someone like Digital Foundry said that this is a pretty flawless port, and it's awesome. I highly recommend it, and I wonder if we're gonna get that other one, the first one,
Uh,
the
the
remaster
replicant,
of the first one. Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
but yeah, I really like it. Highly recommended. Near Automata. I don't really have a lot more to say about it, but really recommended. Oh, the
Two.
amusement park, the abandoned amusement park in that game is like really creepy and like fun.
Ugh. That boss fight though is yikes. But like I said, son, someone that treasure moved to platinum games because some of them, just the way that game starts, feels like a treasure game with the shoot 'em up parts. I'm like, this is insane, but I'm all for it. Um, well, number 9, and I know this seems slow, everybody, but Fire Emblem Three Houses is number 9 for me. Um, I love this game, love the characters. I got to put some more time into it. And everything. I am. What is the Blue House? Um, I
Lion.
think it's the Lions. Yeah,
Hold
that's who
on.
I started with in this game.
Um, I'm looking it up. I forget. So I was the Black Eagles. I'm trying to figure out what. Let's see. The Golden Deer. It doesn't say what the blue house is. What are the three nations? Don't care. Anyways, continue. Sorry, I was trying to find
Oh no, thank you for researching. Um,
Blue Lions. Yes, we were
the
right.
Blue Lions. Yeah.
Correct.
That is my house. And I think one of people don't like one of them, and then I think it's my house. People don't like. I gotta see. Um, but man, Kobe Tecmo changed the Fire Emblem series. Like I would, all respect to Fire Emblem Engage. Also, a great soundtrack. Yeah, everybody give that game a try, a play. Also, like it really is a great game. Um, but man, Three Houses. Even when people were done with the game 3 times, they went back playing it. Like people, there was a period that everybody just like, I'm about to go play Fire Emblem Three Houses, just because. Even though they knew what to do, they were just like, just because.
Yeah.
It, even though I couldn't get my collector's edition Amazon, um, the game sold out twice, Corey.
I know.
That was ridiculous. When have a Nintendo game sold its first shipment, got another shipment, sold that out, got another shipment, and sold that out? Like, that's insane.
I mean, I feel like they weren't anticipating that game being that big, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that seems like the answer.
Because a lot of people was giving that Game of the Year nominations. They were just like, yeah, this is literally up there.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like, so but I just got to play more of it and everything, and I am enjoying it. Even though I do some battles and stuff, I got to get into it and just like focus
Yeah.
for it. But Fire Emblem Three Houses is number 9 for me.
Nice. Let's see, Ed. My number 9 is is Disney Dreamlight Valley.
I thought it would be higher
I know.
for you.
I thought it was going to be higher too, but there's just too many great games on the Switch that, man, I'm I'm on another kick right now. You know, like I'm on another kind of. I'm actually advancing
You're,
this. What?
it's you are on another kick, but you are it's it literally is the what is the theme park game that we talk about? Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's the
Oh
Roller
yeah.
Coaster Tycoon feeling for you, where
Well,
you love what you have.
it's only because I can't play Roller Coaster Tycoon right now.
Yes, you love you love your part, but then you want to destroy it all and start all over again.
Yeah. Well, you know, I would.
And
Go
what the
ahead.
crazy thing is, you could do it, and you would make a better version in no time flat. I'm like, how the heck did you do this?
Yeah. Man, that game really good. Love it. Love it, Ed. So, um, so yeah, I mean that's my number 9. I just what I need to do is redo my island, and I'm
Mm.
trying to advance the story enough to where like I can start like moving different pieces around and kind of clearing out space, because it's like, I'm just it's just really um hard to do when you have other things going on. So that'll be that's my number 9.
Are you gonna when you start moving and transitioning your island? Are you gonna do it on Xbox or Switch?
Wait, what did you say? What?
When you do your new island, are you gonna do
Oh,
it on
I
Switch
mean,
or Xbox?
I will probably do it on. I mean, it's the same save file on both systems because I
Mm,
use the Ubisoft Cloud save across the system, so it's not. Well, GameLoft, I guess. I think GameLoft's owned by Ubisoft though. Uh, so I will probably do it on Xbox just because moving your island around on that tiny screen is not ideal.
hmm
And the Switch chugs when you start moving stuff around like that.
Uh,
And sometimes it freezes, and the Switch version does not run very well. Unfortunately, it's nice to like do missions and grind out some, materials and stuff while I'm watching TV or in bed or whatever, or like do a mission
yeah.
or two. But like the Xbox version, I mean, I told you it's like it it has 120 frames a second mode on it, and it really throws me off. Um, but yeah, I will do it on Xbox. But I need like a big chunk of time to just like really set everything up, because it's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a big one.
yeah.
Okay. Well, my number 8, Corey, is Death Store.
Hmm.
This game,
It's an
I
incredible game.
did. It's incredible, and I should have listened to people. I mean, I was, happy people were enjoying it on Xbox. So I didn't expect it to come to Switch or anything, and I was kind of waiting to sale for Xbox and everything, and it came to Switch. I'm like, okay, I got to get it because it's on Switch. Sat down and started playing that game, give it like dedicating a lot of time, laughing at the cutscenes. The Out of the 3 bosses that you have to, instead of the prologue boss, um out of the 3 bosses, um I think it's this frog boss that you fight. The way they introduced them, I took a screenshot so I could read everything that they said. It is the most hilarious thing, but the gameplay is so addictive and it's so good. It's a great Zelda game, and that's why it's way better than Tunic. I'm sorry, everybody, but Death Store is just way better than Tunic.
Yeah, I
Man,
think
I
it seems
go
like
ahead.
the people who played Tunic and didn't play Death's Door really like Tunic, but also like
Mhm.
it really seems like it seems like the people who played Death's Door before Tunic have a hard time going back to Tunic because it's so, you know, um, kind of slow and kind of
It's
hard to kind of get, you know what I mean? Like, sorry,
it's slow and
I'm just,
no,
I'm
I
kind of
understand.
tired, but
It's slow and the hit detection is terrible in it. Like the range, like it's so bad when it comes to it. And yeah,
yeah.
Death Door is just so fast, and the range, and definitely when you get like the big sword and you can swing more, it is a little bit powerful. You really feel like you have evolved in that game, that you have become stronger. That's why I feel like that's more of a Zelda S game than Tunic and everything.
Hmm.
So but yeah, number 8, Death Store for me.
Nice. My number 8 is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I know we kind of talked about it already. I went with the
Mm.
Black Eagles, which I know a lot of people think is like the Nazi house, but it's not true. It's not true. Uh, but also, we talked a lot about it already, but I do want to give a shout out to Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes, because
Yeah.
um, even though
Oh
it's,
gosh.
even though it's kind of like a pseudo sequel slash parallel story, they did
Mhm.
introduce one of the coolest Fire Emblem characters ever that we
Yes.
will probably never see again, unfortunately, in Shez. Like Shez is one of the best Fire Emblem characters they've ever
She,
created.
she's iconic. Like she's legend. Like she's top tier. Like I
Yeah.
I'm
I put her up there with like, Lucina and,
yes.
like Marth. Like I put her up there in like the coolest Fire Emblem characters, and it's just sad that we're not going to see her really again. Probably
And the voice acting for her. Oh man.
she's so sassy.
Ah. She's sassy, but that's what I love about her. It gives her character. And like when she goes into like battle, like you feel her strength and her power. So yeah, I'm not even denying it. Even though Three Hopes isn't on my list. Like I think if we did if we ever get to our 25 top first party Nintendo games, oh, that game is on the list.
Hmm.
That game is on the list. She's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. So Fire Emblem Three Houses is my number 8.
Okay. My number 7, Just Shapes and Beats.
Mm,
Soundtrack
I was wondering where that was going to
boss.
fall.
Soundtracks boss. Backgrounds. Even though the story is kind of here or there, the Shovel Knight music is like bomb bigoted. It's straight a banger. I don't need to say no more about it. If you are a house head like me and you love dance, Just Shapes and Beats is not only a phenomenal soundtrack, the gameplay is really good and challenging. And I recommend anyone who is into it to have this. Like, it's so good. So, yeah, no, that's my number 7. Just Shapes and Beats. I can't say no more about it.
Nice. My number 7 is a game that I don't really need to say a lot about because I've talked about it for probably almost 10 years at this point. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove is my number 7. Uh, it's an incredible package. The entire
Mm-hmm.
package is incredible. Uh, Spectre Knight's campaign, especially, is probably one of the best platformers I've ever played. Period. Just the movement and the way you can use the scythe is like, to move about the world, and just how like dark the story is and how Spectre Knight became Spectre Knight is just I love. And obviously the original campaign is great too. And the
Mm-hmm.
King Knight campaign is pretty good. The only campaign I didn't really care for was the Plague Knight campaign, but even I feel like using the bombs to move around was kind of like a weird choice, but maybe I just need to go back and try it out again. But overall, man, plus they have that Smash Brothers mode in it, pretty much the Shovel Knight Showdown mode, which is basically
Yeah.
you get to pick, Shovel Knight characters and battle it out. Uh, so that's my number 7, Ed.
Oh, and great Amiibo collection when it came
Oh
out for
yeah.
Switch.
Oh yeah, man. You know I had to get all of those. I still need the
Oh,
gold Shovel Knight, but I don't know. I don't really know if I need the gold one, but the other ones are great.
number 6 for me is Hades. Um, of course, Corey doesn't like roguelike games.
Mm-mm.
I'm not going to deny that beautiful artwork. Supergiant did a fantastic job. Um, I think this got Game of the Year. 80s did
Yeah. Oh
well
yeah.
deserved. Like it like everybody well, not everybody, a lot of people who had a Switch were playing this game. Even though it was in early access on PC on Epic Games. Once it hit Switch, because did not know it was coming to Switch until they showed it on that Nintendo Direct. And it was just like, wait, what's the full game? Because it was just like, it was in early access on PC and they were getting the full game until the Switch version was dropping. And then it dropped on Xbox, and that cover on that green box is
Mm-hmm.
so good. And like people double dipped on Hades on Xbox. I know
Yeah.
we talk a lot about Xbox here on Nintendo Pow Block, but you got to give it to you got to give it to the Switch version that got everybody into this game and make it super giant, like very, I'm going to say rich, just off of this game and stuff. Yeah. So Hades is number 6 for me. Such an amazing game.
Yeah, I mean, I know people love it. I don't know. I bought it. I maybe I should just go play it at some point. What number are we on? 6.
Hmm.
Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury is my number 6. We talked about this already earlier in the show, but it's the best 3D Mario game. I love it so much, and like they adjusted a lot of the movement for this release, and it just feels so much better. I think they
Yeah,
probably
it does feel better on
it's
Switch.
it's faster. It's definitely faster. It definitely
Mm.
feels more like Odyssey in a lot of ways. Not identical, but in a lot of ways, and I think that was intentional. Um,
In the movement, yes, I can see that.
yeah. I only played as Mario though, unless I mean, there's a couple stages where like to get the green star, you have to use a different character. So I use a different character to get those, but I only use Mario. Come on. It's called Super Mario 3D World, not Super Mario. It's not Super Toad 3D World.
Look,
So,
Princess Peach was my girl because she was saving my tail so many jumps and
yeah,
everything. It's that dang old Super Mario Brothers too. That is why.
yeah, yeah. So
I
that's
think
mine.
the I think
Go ahead.
oh
Sorry.
go ahead.
No, I was
No,
just
I
say
was
that
going to
was my
say
number 6.
uh I was going to say that I think one of my challenges for next year is to beat Super Mario Brothers 2 with just using Mario because I never used Mario in that game. It's always Toad, Luigi, or a princess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Princess Peach has the whole um I can fly thing. So
Right. So we're
yeah.
number 5, everybody. We're getting to our top 5 games. It's Metroid Dread. I know we spoke a little bit about this, but
Steam.
Mercury Steam, did a phenomenal job with this game. That the cinematic shots in this game, and this kind of being to me personally the first Metroid game to actually tell a story. Because in a lot of Metroid games, you don't really get a story, but I'm like, hearing Samus talk in a language, meeting people from her tribe, and everything, and what she was created for, and just all of this stuff, and the Emmys, and it was so good. That Craig fight, still to this very day, one of the most best, just a beautiful look and a great fight with that and everything. So Metroid Dread, this is the third game that I 100%ed in the Metroid series.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, because I did Zero Mission as 100% also. That's why. Yeah.
Nice. Um so my number 5 is Death's Door. I fell in love with this game while I was on, a little bit before vacation and while I was on vacation last year. Um what an incredible game.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't I mean we talked about it already when you were kind of talking about it, but man, just an incredible experience. I love the art style. I love the combat, especially once you start leveling up and getting your stuff,
Yeah.
I mean at first it feels kind of slow, but once you start leveling up and getting, putting your points where you need to, and uh the boss battles were, you know, on the Switch they were a little frustrating when in handheld mode because the Joy Cons don't move like regular joysticks and that kind of stuff. But overall, like, man, what an incredible game! I mean, that game has had the same effect that Breath of the Wild has had on me, where like I think about that
Yeah.
game constantly to the point where like I re-downloaded it on Xbox because I was thinking about playing it again, and might want to get the achievements for it. Um, so Death's Door is my number 5.
And it's a game that me and you both were playing at the same time, like unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, oh, you're playing it, I'm playing it, and how that just led to the conversations be like, man,
Yeah.
it don't sound good. Just check older power blocks, everybody. You will understand why.
Yeah.
All right, well, Corey,
Yeah.
my number 4, Yoshi's Crafted World.
Mm, shocker.
The level design in this game is phenomenal. I love the boss fights, but a level that takes place in a bathtub had me on the floor. I'm like, this is just way too much. It is so good. It's so cute playing as Yoshi, and even doing the reverse worlds and stuff. There's a like you're in a ninja level and everything, and it's so cool. It it's just amazing. And then there's still a lot to do after you beat the game, like post game. There's still so much to do. Um, but I got the review on bossrush.net. You guys could check out. Like, man, it really blew my mind on how great it is. And definitely to see that it kind of, I mean, it did okay, but for it to get ignored from a lot of people, those people who like actually finished the game gave it its praises, gave it its due respect, and it's just so good, man. So yeah, number 4, Yoshi's Crafted World for me.
Nice. My number 4, Ed, is Link's Awakening.
Yes.
I mean, I love this game. Like every time I look at it, every time I see it, and like I'm still on the last dungeon. Uh, I'll finish it someday. But yeah, man, this game is incredible. I wish they would remake more Zelda games in this kind of style. Maybe not this exact style, but
Mm.
they did such a great job remaking this game, and while staying faithful to the original game, but changing some things and some quality of life things made it a little bit better. I still think the trading uh, quest is really stupid, but uh, everything else is like the dungeons are fun, the puzzles are fun, very 90s, and I just love it. I love this game so
I
much.
I've been watching the other people's reactions when the game was announced, and I think we did a direct recap on this one, and I even watched that, and it's just like, man, even seeing Brian Altano on how happy he got at IGN that this game got announced. Like, it's it threw everybody for a loop, because who knew that Nintendo would go into the like remaking a classic game like that.
Yeah,
So
it's
good.
it's so it's so good, and like just like it just feels like a really great, it's a great remake, and
Yes.
I hope whatever they remake next, it's I don't know. I hope they take as much care, which I think they will. I think they really care about Zelda, right? I mean, it's not like a series like Kirby where they just throw trash out every 3 weeks. And no, I'm just kidding. I just like to give Kirby a hard time. I hope whatever they remake next, they take as much care that they did with this. I actually was
Goodness.
thinking about that. I actually like really hope. My original thought was that I hope it's the Oracle games, but I actually hope it's Minish Cap. Um, in like a real full Wind Waker style top down.
But who does Nintendo? Well, I mean, yes, Nintendo's property, but that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Grezzo doing it instead of Capcom.
yeah. I mean, it's a remake. You don't need Capcom to do it. Plus, they're busy being awesome somewhere else. So, but that's
Or
my number 4.
yeah, dude, I won't. I think I need the Kid Icarus remake.
Mm, do we though? Do
I
we?
mean, I do, not everybody else.
Mm,
Well, Corey, it's our number 3.
yep.
With 3, 2, 1. So my
Hmm.
third game, and you probably could guess what this one is.
No, I can't.
Everybody, Paper
Ikaruga.
Mario, no, not Ikaruga. Paper Mario and the Origami King. Emotions. Wow, like I laugh. Very challenging game. Love the puzzle aspects for the battle. Um, the your partner Baam, and what happens to him. I won't reveal. The environments, the game, the way that the game looks is gorgeous for what they did. I'm like, man, like, and yes, it is a different take on the Paper Mario battle system. Um, Great ending, and everything, and it's everything. It was my game of the year when it came out. And this is like, I think before or after I beat Ghost of Tsushima. No, after, because I put it I played since they both came out around the same time. I did Ghost of Tsushima for review, and I did Paper Mario after, and everything. So even though the releases were different, the way that they were played, I played them differently. Um, both phenomenal games. I want to say that, but man, Paper Mario the Origami King, I as much as I love Thousand Year Door, I think this is the best one. And I really wish they bring Color Splash to Switch.
Yeah.
But right now, Origami King, I think it's the best Paper Mario in the
Yeah.
series.
I wonder if they will. I wonder if they'll bring Color Splash over at some point. I mean, they've got a year and a half to fill of ports if they're bringing this new console out. So,
That is true. So
oh
that is
man,
my number 3. Corey, your number 3.
my number 3. It's going to be short. We already talked about this. Tetris Effect. I
Yes.
love Tetris. Any version of Tetris is going to be in a top 3 of all time for me on any
was you
console.
was you was you doing like the free demo of Puyo Puyo Tetris just so you can do the Tetris
Yep.
thing?
Yep. Yeah. My only, I don't want to say complaint about Tetris Effect is like, but sometimes the board is too small, and like when it's
Uh
when the pieces are like, it's only the outline of the pieces and they're not solid in the middle. I can't really see what's going on a lot of the time. But
yeah.
other than that, like I mean, I usually just figure it out and do it. But I love the music. I love wearing headphones with this game. I love just the way that, like, as you progress through each stage, like the music builds, and you know, it's it's really awesome. I love it.
I still got to give my challenge against you.
Yeah,
Like us going head to head for Tetris is one of my goals.
I'll win.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. I'll say okay. I'm gonna talk about junk. But
What's your number 2, Ed?
number 2.
Man, cough. That cough was loud. I saw that
Ooh,
spike. Sorry, everybody. I've,
you
I've,
might. Okay.
so I just like, I know, I'm sorry, everybody. I've been sniffling and coughing this whole episode. I'm actually like really sick.
Oh no!
Yeah. So I'm like trying to push through, and like I'm really sick, and my daughter was up until like 3 o'clock or like 2:30 last night. So I didn't fall asleep till after 3 o'clock, and I got up at 7. So like
Oh no!
I'm like exhausted and sick. So I'm sorry, everybody, for coughing and sniffling and stuff. I probably should have said that at the top of the show, at the top of the show, but
Oh
it's fine. It's fine. Red Bull is the cure for everything.
no! Well, my number 2, Corey, is Green.
Mm.
Like, Nomada Studios. I think this is their debut game, and I can't wait for Never. Um, I just seen the animation in the first trailer, that Digital Devolver just released, and I'm like, oh, I have to have it. Like, so I have it on PlayStation 4 and I have it on Switch.
Hmm.
We got to talk the walk about this. David, Celeste, Stephanie, and I. You guys could go check that out. Man, I did not know the emotions I was going to feel for this game because you know me, I love art. Like we talked about art in games and everything, and this is just this 2D hand painted work of art is just so gorgeous. And then you get into the themes of, you know, of death and losing somebody and how to move on. And just when you get into people who play the game and you start talking about it and hearing different people's interpretations, you really open your eyes to, I would have never guessed that and everything. And I'm glad that is on, I think it's on Xbox also. Um but you know, I I got it on PlayStation because I wanted to stream it for our discussion and everything. It's only about 3 hours in total.
Mhm.
If you just go like straight through the game. But yeah, Green, I championed this game. I think it came out in December, and I was just like, I think this is my game of the year when it came out. Like it is so gorgeous, and it's just I'm glad that this game came out on Switch and
Yeah.
everything. I do, and I did cop my physical from Limited Run for Switch. But yeah, when it came out, I'm like, I had to have it. I literally had to have it.
Hmm.
Digital Devolver, start being your own publisher too. Bring some of these games out on physical.
Uh, it's my turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 game is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think the way they've supported this game since launch, the DLC, although Wave 1 was pretty underwhelming and Wave 2 was okay, the waves
Mm-hmm.
since then have been pretty great. Uh, I mean, it's to the point where like I popped it in the other day and played a little bit, and it's I played so many hours on the Wii U and so many hours on the Switch, and it's still like I'm not tired of it, and I'm not even like I think the only other Mario Kart that I actually really loved was Mario Kart DS, which
Mm-hmm.
is an incredible game too. But like, I'm not a big Mario Kart guy. Like, I don't think Super Mario Kart is good. I don't think Kart 64 is good. I think Double Dash is overrated.
I still can't believe you said
I
that.
I think I think the driving in Double Dash and the Wii version is terrible. The driving and the drifting is really bad. Uh, but
The Wii version, yes. You know what?
they really perfected it with Mario Kart 8, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just it's top tier kart racing. And I know people want
Mm-hmm.
to argue that like Crash Team Racing is, better than Mario Kart 8. I think I
The
I
only game that would give Mario Kart a run for this money is that Sega Sonic Transformation racing game.
see, I mean, I liked that one, but
I,
I don't even think like I don't even
I
think
would
that
say get one of. I think I said get one of them a run for this money.
yeah, I
Like the
mean, I
series.
think I think that game's better than most Mario Karts, but I mean, I think Diddy Kong Racing is like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the better racing game on N64. Crash Team Racing, like the new one is actually pretty good. It's really hard, which I think kind of makes me feel like Mario Kart 8 is better for me. Um I haven't played enough Crash Team Racing to tell you which one's ultimately better, right? Because I just don't really care ultimately about Crash at all. So I'm not gonna go seek it out. Although I own it and I kind of do want to play it on Xbox just to like see how it feels. But aside from that, like the courses are unique. The designs of the courses are awesome. Adding characters was cool. Like they added the Splatoon characters, which was fun. The Animal Crossing characters, Link. They're still adding characters from other games, right? Like they added Birdo and Petey Piranha, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the ultimate Mario Kart game. And I seriously don't know how they're going to top Mario Kart 8 Deluxe unless the next game is just like Mario Kart as a platform, and they do what they've been doing with the mobile game is like, okay, every battle pass will come with new tracks and you get costumes for each character, and Mario Kart's going to be a platform now, which I think, you know, out of all the companies that could do game as a service, like Nintendo is, a lot of these games are prime for that. Mario Party,
Yep.
Mario Golf, like they're all their sports games, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, like even Animal Crossing, like they put out that one DLC and that was kind of it. Like Animal Crossing is still like based on the calendar. It's not even, you know, updated really, right? So uh they have a Nintendo could really do that next gen, and I'm really interested to see if they do try that with Mario Kart 9. Um I actually think the next Switch is going to launch with Mario Kart now, like at least in the launch window. It's going to launch with a Mario game for sure, but I think in the launch window it's going to have a Mario Kart because, I mean, we knew they were working on a Mario Kart game before they announced this DLC, and
Yes.
and we know that this DLC was kind of designed and or ported by a secondary team while the other team is working on a real Mario Kart game. And it's been it's been 9 years since a quote unquote real Mario Kart. So, uh, you know,
I,
but we can talk about that on a different day. I think Mario Kart 8's like even their battle mode
mm,
in this version is way better. Mario Kart 8 is if it's amazing. That's all I can
yeah.
say.
So before I get to my we get to our number one, Corey. Uh, I do agree with you, what you said about Mario Kart releasing um on the next on their next gen system. Do you think it's a good summer game or fall game in that time release?
I mean,
Because even though
it's Mario Kart, and I think it would be a great. I think it's going to be a great holiday game, to be honest, because you
mhm.
open it for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate during the holidays, and your family's over, you hook it up, you get Mario Kart and an extra controller. Maybe your Switch controllers work with this new console, hopefully, and like you just link it all up and be like, yeah, let's play some Mario Kart. This is awesome, and I think that's happening. It's happening. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm like, yes, this is definitely happening.
I think we'll dive into that for expansion pass.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good expansion pass title
Like
to
a
dive
launch
in.
lineup for the next console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Well, my number one, uh, like Corey guessed it, so he knows what I'm about to say.
Ikaruga.
Xenoblade Chronicles. Not that. Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Hmm.
Characters, voice acting, music,
I'm disappointed.
gameplay,
I'm disappointed in
battles,
you, Ed.
side quests. Like the you talking about Breath of the Wild being over 200 some hours. I pretty much put that much work into Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And even the DLC is amazing.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, that's a series that I really wish I would have put more time into. Um, but like now that like not gonna spoil anything, but like I know that 3 really ties together the entire series.
Hmm.
And now I feel like I have to play the other games before I play 3, or like it won't hit as hard. And 1 has been such a slog. Like 1, I mean, 1 is a Wii game, right? I mean, they did a lot of great quality of life changes, and I really like the story, but like I don't know, man. I felt like when I started playing it, it was kind of like I don't know, man. I want it's a series that I really really want to like, and I think I just need to sit down and actually just power through the first one, because what I played of 2 when it came out was awesome. I played like 30 hours of 2. 2 was awesome. And then the DLC came out, and like they tied it into the first one. I'm like, well, then I ended up getting the first one on 3DS thinking I was going to play that. No. That first one on 3DS is not the way to play that game.
The
Uh,
definitive version of Switch is the way to play it.
yeah, so that's probably how I will do it at some point. So, anyways,
Yeah.
what else you got to say about Xenoblade, Ed?
It was Rob for Game of the Year. And man, it that battle music is just it's rocking. That the music in that whole game, and it's still amazing that Monolith Soft was able to get this game running where all that stuff is going on, and then be able to transfer that knowledge to the Zelda series.
Hmm.
And I think it's because Xenoblade Chronicles X, they were just like, what can we push on this console? And I think Monolith Soft took the time to learn Nintendo's hardware with Wii U and Switch. So they know things that they could pull off that other probably the other developers could learn from and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so that's all I could say. But number one is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for me. Corey, what's your number one?
I mean, my number one is Breath of the Wild. Um, that game is such an incredible experience. It was so mysterious when it came out. Even when we were talking about it on
Mm-hmm.
the lead up to, the game before we even knew what it was called, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it it was so mysterious. It was so strange. It was so different, and the sense of exploration mixed with the shrine puzzles, mixed with, the probably the best version of Zelda, I think, in my opinion, that we've ever had. Like the character Zelda, not the game Zelda. And it was just what Zelda needed. And I would love to see a traditional Zelda come back, 3D Zelda come back at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you could run a 3-pillar approach with Zelda, right? Like you could have this open world, and then in between the open world games, you have like like a 2D game and a 3D game, like a traditional 3D game. Because I don't think it would take as long to make those types of games, but uh, again, I'm armchair developing. I don't really know, but uh, I think Breath of the Wild hit at the right time. A new console, a fresh take on the formula, um, interesting survival mechanics, uh, really interesting characters, and the DLC was great. I think the shrines were great, and yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say. I think that Breath of the Wild it's my favorite game. I think it's my favorite game of all time. I still
Mm-hmm.
think, even when I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom, like I'm still thinking about Breath of the Wild and like how amazing that game was. Um,
Yes.
and as much as like I said earlier, as much as I like Tears of the Kingdom, there's nothing that's going to, unless the next open world Zelda game needs a new Hyrule to explore, and I was missing that sense of exploration. But I still don't think that next 3D Zelda game is going to hit the way that Breath of the Wild did because of how mysterious and how different it was right when it came out.
Yes.
Um,
It,
so
Breath of the Wild. Not only did it have us talking before the game came out, when the game came out, and even with Tears of the Kingdom was even first revealed,
mhm.
we were still talking about Breath of the Wild. And it just, even if you listen to different platform podcasts for video games, Breath of the Wild was being mentioned and everything. And I can admit it was one of the games where everybody was just like, don't talk about the game online because I want to explore. That
Yeah,
exploration that you was talking about, Corey. People wanted to get to those points, and everybody's experience was different.
yeah,
It was hard to even talk about that game because you didn't want to break anything, but there were just some things that you had to speak in. Like you can't Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and the Legend of Zelda series are two games that got perfect tens for one platform.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the way down, but like I think IGN both gave both games tens. I think Nintendo Life gave both games tens. Like you don't. That's very rare to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a special game. I mean, I also think it like maybe holds a little bit more special place in my heart too,
Mm,
because like even though it wasn't the first thing we were talking about, it was like the first major thing we were talking about when we started podcasting together. And
yeah,
I think Breath of the Wild really built Pow Block in a way, and I think that game is always going to be special that way too.
yeah.
So yeah, that's why it's my number one.
Say. Well, my rundown then is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Gris, Paper Mario, The Origami King, Yoshi's Crafted World, Metroid Dread, Hades, Just Shapes and Beats, Death's Door, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Graceful Explosion Machine, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser Fury, Tetris Effect, Pikmin 4, Demon X Machina, River City Girls, Octopath Travelers 2, Monster Hunter Rise, Tokyo Mirage Session FE Sharp Encore, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Splatoon 3, Hook, Murder by Numbers, and Voice of Cards, the Voice of Cards series, with my honorable mentions being Spiritfarer, Streets of Rage 4, TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, Blazing Chrome, and Chicory.
My rundown: Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, Tetris Effect, Link's Awakening, Death's Door, Super Mario 3D World, Shovel Knight, Treasure Trove, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Nier Automata, Tears of the Kingdom, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Metroid Dread, Super Meat Boy, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, N++, Valkyria Chronicles 4, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Snipper Clips, Astral Chain, Box Boy plus Box Girl, and Luigi's Mansion. My honorable mentions are Doom, Crosscode, Fell Seal, The Arbiter's Mark, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition.
Yes. So, everybody, that is just some of the best games on Switch. Our personal 25 games. Of course, like I said, there is more. And the games that we didn't talk about or put it in our list doesn't mean that we don't like them or anything. It's just that there's just so much greatness out of 6+ years on Switch to choose from first, third, and indie. But thank you, Corey, for running that list down with me. Everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. By time you guys see the next episode, I will be back fully at Boss Rush. So have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
Bye. If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/BossRushMedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
Nintendo Pow Block is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio. The show is hosted by me, Edward Varnell. My co-hosts are Corey Derrick and Cordy Yikes. You can find Corey at I am Corey in HD on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting the Boss Rush Podcast and Tower Casuals, the Destiny Podcast. You can find Cordy at Cordy_Yikes on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. You can find me at That Richard Cole on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Nintendo Pow Block on all social media platforms at Pow Block Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network, Discord, and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Visit bossrush.net for more great content and patreon.com/bossrushmedia to learn how you can support this show. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.